Helps Miami cover if they're keeping that offense in check for the Celtics. All right, speaking of Boston, we'll see if they advance tonight. But regardless, they are heavy favorites to win the Eastern Conference at -200. They were as short as -250 last week and were -220 prior to the Porzingis injury. The only other team in the East shorter than 10-1 is the New York Knickerbockers, up 3-2 in their series against the Sixers. They're at +435. So, Erin, I'm curious, is it worth betting anyone else to win the East now that Porzingis is banged up?
I mean, look.
What was that?
Joe just whispered the Sixers. Absolutely not. Don't bet the Sixers. The Celtics should still be able to win the East. It's just going to be a matter of, do you actually think they can win it all without Porzingis? Because if you go against a team like the Denver Nuggets, I mean, at that point, I do believe that you're not going to be able to get past them. But I mean, it's just something you have to adjust to more so game-to-game betting than I would say maybe betting into other futures markets right now. I don't think you're going to get like a ton of value somewhere just because Porzingis isn't playing. It's because the East is also very easy. They're not in the West. The West would be a totally, again, different conversation. But I mean, it's not really impacting the way that I think that the Celtics aren't going to be able to do it. They should be able to win the East.
I mean, who scares you, right? Like, let's reverse engineer it. Instead of what's great about Boston, let's, to your point, start looking at some of these other teams. The Sixers are banged up and in a war. On the other side of that, the Knicks are banged up in a war. Now, if the Knicks find a way to win that game last night, sorry, John Stewart, it just didn't go your way. But if they find a way to get some extra rest there, sure, but they didn't. So now they're stuck with that. The Pacers showed their youth. They went to Milwaukee against a team without Dame, without Giannis, and they lost. They got blown out. Milwaukee's banged up. Cleveland and Orlando, you know how I feel about those two. Process of elimination. The edge would be to look at the Western Conference, and they are offering props on which conference wins the championship. I would look to just play the Western Conference flat. If the Porzingis injury lingers, it's going to hurt them, and it's going to hurt them worst in the finals. So I might get ahead of that now.
I know you reverse engineered it there, but to me, Philadelphia would be a problem if Porzingis is hurt because he'd be the guy, along with Al Horford, responsible for keeping Joel Embiid in check. Now, Embiid, while not 100%, does have a 50-point game in these playoffs, so he's still capable of dominating. So if they catch Embiid and the Sixers without Porzingis, as a Celtics fan, I'm not, but if I was, I'd be a bit concerned.
So you think the Sixers get through the Knicks, though, obviously?
Well, the Knicks, are they wearing down with all these minutes on Jalen? If Jalen Brunson doesn't score 47 or 40, like, that seems to be what is required for them to win.
Maxey and Embiid, though.
That playoff series is the end of the movie 300. No one's coming out a winner there.
Well, the other question, if Milwaukee can survive, then Dame and maybe Giannis are back. Anita, has the East opened up in your eyes, or is Boston still the best bet?
So let me get this straight. You think the 76ers are going to beat the Knicks in Philadelphia and then come back to the Garden?
They're favored
on Sunday?
See what you did here?
If it goes to a Game 7, are you really? All right, like for me, it's the Knicks. Listen, again, we're all believing that Boston is going to beat the Heat, right? And then, as Joe said, I'm with you. I'm not thrilled with the magic of the Caps. I do have Boston making it to the Eastern Conference Championship. But this is a Knicks team, I think, that can either win it in Philadelphia or close it out in Game 7 at home at the Garden. You mentioned Brunson putting up all those points. If it wasn't for Maxey putting up 46 points last night and ruined my best bet, we'll get to that later, then this series would have been over. I think the Knicks are going to have a more difficult time going up against the Pacers or the Bucks, and I've got them going up against the Pacers. But right now, if you could jump on an Eastern Conference Championship of Boston versus the Knicks, I think that there's value there. Okay. I truly believe, I'm not drinking the blue Kool-Aid here in New York.
Yeah, right.
I truly believe that we will see the Knicks and the Celtics for your Eastern Conference Championship. And if you get on that future, that's what I would do.
Knicks have their hands full right now with a 76er squad that just won't go away.
Seconds left in Game 5. Maxey fires. He's got it. Tie game. Overtime at the Garden. Philadelphia is not done yet. A win puts the Knicks in the second round. Brunson sticks it from the outside to Embiid. It goes, and the foul. Brunson, come on! We are tied as Oubre the catch. Oubre, the adjustment, and he gets the roll. Knicks are down by 2. Brunson forced to give it up, and nobody there. The Sixers stay alive. The Knicks could not shut the door.
Shame when you think about it.
Maximum entertainment provided as the Sixers stave off elimination thanks to Tyrese Maxey's heroics. They are Philly 3-1 dogs to come back and win this series, Game 6 and 7. They're favored tomorrow night to force a Game 7 on Saturday back in New York. So, I mean, EKD, are you interested in betting the Sixers at that price to win the series?
I am not. I had a fan foul last night where I turned the game off with like 10 seconds left. And I was like, oh, nothing's going to happen. I get that text. I love Tyrese Maxey from my best friend. And I was like, let's put this back on.
You didn't want to just finish the final 10 seconds?
No, I was like, I didn't want to watch us loot. Like, I was like, I'm done with this team.
Fair.
I was mad, so I turned it off, and then he came back. So maybe that's a good omen. But nonetheless, I do not want to bet them to actually go on and win this series. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was just one more game.
Right.
But it's 2 more games that they have to get through. Obviously, I love what Embiid's been able to do. Same goes for Tyrese Maxey. It's been great. It's been elite, but I just don't truly know how sustainable this is game after game after game. And it's coming down to the final minutes. Basically every game, it feels like. So I just don't know if I trust them in a do-or-die situation, even if it does go to a Game 7. So I'm personally not willing to bet it at the price.
Maxey, man, that's a buy the jersey game right there. Like, if you're a fan and you haven't already bought the jersey, you buy the jersey after a game like that. So let's do the conversion. Let's get nerdy here for a minute.
Yep.
Like, Phillies plus 300. That implies a 25% chance of winning the series. It feels bang on the number. That's the thing. It feels bang on the number. I don't see a whole lot of value. If you give me 455 to 1, maybe I'll get involved. The thing is, look at what they needed to win that game last night. You needed an incredible performance from Tyrese Maxey, hitting a 3-pointer from inside the logo when the Knicks were too dumb to foul him in that situation, which is exactly what they should have done. You needed the Mitchell Robinson ill-advised foul on the 3-point shot. You still needed to come through in overtime, and all that led you to a win. So now you got to find a way to do it 2 more times. That's going to be difficult against a Knicks team that's forged in adversity. They've gone through it all year long. They keep bouncing back. If it was a weaker-minded team, I might be inclined to get involved. But this Knicks team is tough.
You rattled off a lot of names for the Sixers that obviously played great last night. There's one that you forgot. Tobias Harris, your boy.
Yeah, I mean, your boy steps
19
in,
points.
pops the over. He got that in like what did he? Mac, when did he have that? Third quarter? You were texting me?
It was soon enough.
You're welcome in my house anytime, Tobias.
After what he said
you and I are tight now.
yesterday, I'm sure Tobias is itching to have dinner with the Fortenbaugh soon.
Wanna try to boast at what I look like. If I'm going try to wear, I pull up all range. Jimmy with the heat, I'm on fire. It's NBA, I'm a